Ladies and gentlemen, we are officially back for another episode of The Mix Behind the Mic. My name's Harry, co-host Keith. On today, we have a rookie in the business, Shayna Karl, the Perfect Day Creations, event planning as well as content creation, and you're dabbling with both. And we love different aspects of people. So, Shayna, welcome to the bond.
Thank you so much for having me.
Sure.
It is indeed a perfect day on the pod today, and it's a pleasure to be here. So
We're excited to have you. So, a little backstory. Shayna did a wedding with one of our couples last September, I want to say. October. And was that day the day that we had the three at the venue? So, shout out to Penryn and Ben Salem. We were honored, and I was told by the owner that we were the first team to do a DJ at all three venues in the same day. And on that historic day for us, we happened to work a wedding with you and connected. And, I'll let you talk a little bit more about it. But, since that day, we've worked multiple weddings in the past 6 months or so and have recently been connecting a lot. So I was like, come chop it up and, tell us your story and help us help more brides with stuff. So for starters, as we do on every pod, how'd you get into this? What made you here and, get a little into it with us?
So I'll officially be 1 year in, hence the rookie on August 16th. Very special day. My father's birthday. Beautiful day to have the anniversary of my business.
I love it.
I have about 12 years of a hospitality background. I worked at an incredible restaurant in Manioc called Taqueria Amor. I hosted, served, bartended, and then eventually took over their social media about 6 years ago. They also are heavily into events there. We do some pretty crazy pop-up themes, and I kind of was the headliner of that. I made a Mexican restaurant become flipped into the upside down for a Stranger Things Halloween, one of my biggest, I think, and proudest popovers. So I can definitely handle, getting your candles and bud vases on your tables, brides. I promise if you have a vision, I will bring it to life. But then I had my beautiful daughter, Aurora, in April of 2025. And I realized that I wanted to be able to be home with her and that was where my heart really was now. But I've always wanted to be my own boss. Entrepreneurship really runs and pulses through my blood. And I decided that it was time to take, I had Perfect Day actually, but it was kind of always on the back burner. I was dabbling a little bit in content creation, but had a lot going on with the restaurant being my main focus. And I decided that it was time to really cannonball in. I did take a content booking right after she was born, but then I had the opportunity of my best friend's twin sister. She was like, hey, I know you really want to get into wedding planning. I saw what you did with your wedding, the design, how creative you are. I really think that, you should take this chance with me. But it was actually going to be on my father's birthday, who's my angel in the sky. So I was I don't know if I want to do it. I don't know. That day's a little, heavy, a little sensitive for me. But ultimately I was like, you know what? My dad would want me to do this. He's the person that made me want to become this entrepreneur. So I took it. It was a great day. All the vendors I worked with were like, we can't believe it's your first day doing this. And then I just very much from there was very transparent with brides. Hey, I'm just getting my foot in the door. That's why these rates are what they are. Had a couple of brides that believed in me, one being, bride that united us at Penryn. And
her you can shout out. Why can't I think of her name?
Taylor,
thank you.
The Kowalskis.
I was going to say, I know it's with a K. Okay.
And she's actually now planning too because she did such a bang up job that she fell in love with it too. And she's awesome. One of my biggest supporters. And that was my first time being at Penryn, and it happened to be one of the biggest nights in your career. Yeah. So how cool is that?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, now I'm kind of a frequent flyer there myself and love working with the team.
So I'm impressed how many you have this year?
33.
33.
Angel sign.
Which is like Keith just pointed at me because 33 is a weird number with me. And I honestly, one of my best friends that passed, it's like a weird thing with me in 33, so I just like the comparison.
Yeah, gotta trust those signs.
33
studio. 33?
I mean, not to mention we call the studio 33. Thanks.
Oh
Keith,
yeah,
for throwing
it
that
was.
out.
Yeah,
I thought we were going
133,
there.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but doing 33 in the first year is kind of wild, in my opinion. So kudos to you for that. I'm debating on if I want to say this to you out loud or not, but I don't know. Do we say it? We'll say it. I also got to speak very loud to people. I'm sorry if you watch all our episodes. I'm not loud enough, so I'm going to start talking like this.
It's too loud.
It's too loud.
You're doing
right.
too much.
Okay.
My daughter would tell me you're doing too much.
Okay.
You're above the decimal level that's allotted at the venue.
Oh my God, touche. Oh my God,
You
that's
just
it.
went.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
You're gonna get us, yeah.
What I was going to say was, you are by far, hands down, the most rookie, if you will, that we've had in here, the freshest one. And I was originally going to say, damn, I don't even know if I would have told you to come on this spot if I knew you were only a year in. But that's kudos to you of thinking I didn't think you were. And I know you're doing a lot of business. We've already done multiple weddings together. So it's kind of why I was saying it's a big compliment. The new aspect for you, I think I like, because you're fresh and things that we did. A lot of times I say pre-COVID, the world is different, and what we did pre-COVID is, nothing that you've experienced if you're, newer to the business. But I want to talk trends and things today and what people are into. How long ago did you get married?
I actually eloped in October of 2022. We didn't tell anybody for a whole year.
Okay.
And then we went on this crazy honeymoon 3 weeks in Europe, and then I kind of decided that I had a little of wait a second,
FOMO, you need to do this.
Yeah, I'm not really a FOMO person. I really do march to the beat of my own drum, but I think because of things in my life, we had I don't know, we had that kind of death in 3 kind of year. I was I don't want everybody I love to be in one place when I'm literally I don't know where I'll be then.
Sure.
I might be a tree in the distance. I don't know. I'm kind of woohoo like that. But anyway, I was I want everybody I love. I just want to have a party. So then we ended up ultimately having a party on the 4th of July down in Lewis, Delaware on 2024.
Okay. How much of your own wedding impacted where you are today, what you're doing today, and tell us
everything.
About that. Well, so that's why I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, everything with what happened from eloping, which eloping is the most amazing thing in the world. You still definitely can use a day of coordinator, though. Don't get me wrong. If you're eloping, definitely get help if you feel like you need it. But my wedding year, I did everything. It was hell. It was actually really rough. I am a very stubborn person. I'm very creatively driven, and I like things to be how I like, and I'm very dream big even on a budget. We also were paying for everything ourselves, and I feel something that people don't think about is when you're having a wedding and you're paying for it yourself, the repercussions and the ripple effects sometimes of what that does to your personal social life that year. You have to say a lot of no's, and you're working towards this big ultimate goal, but sometimes I feel you kind of feel you are missing out on things that are also important that year because you're saving and you're penny pinching and things like that. So that was another thing. And also, I didn't have a day of coordinator. I, truth be told, did not even know they existed. It was supposed to, be a party, but it kind of turned into a full-fledged wedding because once you're honest with people and say, hey, this is a wedding, but it's more like a party, they're no, wedding. And then you kind of get dragged through the mud there a little bit. We really just wanted to boogie on down and have barbecue, and it was on the 4th of July, so how much more casual can that get? We were down the shore. We did kind of the whole weekend, which honestly made it all worth it. That was so fun to be with everybody for the whole weekend. But man, if I would have had a day of coordinator, my life would have been just a night and day difference. And I have the best friends in the world. My friends were so supportive of all the crazy things I wanted to do. I mean, we did a water gun send off. We did this was the one that people still talk about, and it's hanging on their fridge. I'm very big on I love diners. So I got the guest check pads that diner ladies have. Yep. And I wrote messages, but we didn't do just thanks for coming to our wedding, which is so nice. I love when people do that. We found movie quotes and music lyrics that kind of aligned with all of our friends because we're very into we're movie people. So I handwrote a lot of those. What else did we do? We did coffee mugs as favors because we're big coffee people. Oh, and I got 2 of my best bartender friends certified so that they could come all the way down just to pump cocktails because I hate when weddings don't have good cocktails after all the years of bartending. But anyway, long story short, did all that, drove myself crazy, learned a heck of a lot. It was worth it. Ended up going viral on TikTok because we closed our wedding with Zach Bryan's Revival, the full 11-minute version at Red Rocks. And I got on the mic and I was pretty feral. And I even made it onto some like country website.
Cool.
Yeah.
Keith's going to put that in a clip right here below.
I'm just, how many hits
Great
did
way
it
to
get?
close it though.
He's like
Great
viral.
song.
What is viral?
How many?
How
We
many?
have a question like, what does everyone considers viral? A little something different.
I honestly, at this point in time, I feel like I've become such a mom. I don't even know what it's up to because I feel like I made my TikTok like private once I had a kid. I'm like very big on like private social life, especially once you become a business owner because like there's business and there's friendships and there's things like that. But I like literally don't even remember, but like I really thought that like Zach Bryan was like gonna bring me on stage to see Revival. Like I thought I was gonna be that girl. Like it was.
There's still
was going around. Like people were like seeing it on their feeds, and then somebody was like, "You made it onto this like country news thing."
That's awesome.
I mean, the internet like roasted the heck out of me.
Instagram, TikTok. What?
I had originally put it on TikTok, and then it got shared from there. But it was really cool because it was like so many brides that were like commenting and saying like, "Oh my gosh, like this is so unique. Like this is what I want," or like other people saying like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm not getting married until I have like a love story like this, like that like wants to do this with me." So like it kind of really taught me, and like it's the biggest advice that I give to my brides, like do whatever the hell you want. Do it. Because when it feels like you, all your friends are going to be like, "Oh my gosh, that day was so Shayna and Alex, like the guest checks, the Revival, the water gun send off, which we did,
mugs.
The coffee mugs, which they were like Moldovsky 2024, strong cocktails today, stronger coffee tomorrow. I'll give you one because I still have like 100 rack of them in my basement." Nice. Yeah, they'll probably maybe make it to a thrift shop one day and somebody will be like, "These people seem cool." But just very big. But yeah, long story short, it really taught me so much. It also taught me about like when you cheap out on vendors. Looking back now, I'm like, man, oh man. Not to knock any of my own wedding vendors.
It is what it is.
But I've definitely learned. And you know, it was like a great team of people, but like certain things now that I look back after knowing what I've learned in the last year.
Sure.
You definitely like pay for what you.
I mean, you get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for. Yes, exactly. That's what I was trying to say.
I think a lot of people come on the show have somewhat similar stories of, if we're specifically talking about females that get into the fields that you're in.
Yeah.
That they had their wedding, they loved it, and they want to do it more. Every time I try to talk louder, I just keep thinking, Keith, I'm talking louder.
I'm looking at the bars over there, and
like
that one's like
good.
reading out on the computer. But
am
I
I
think it's
talking
fine
loud enough?
I think you're fine.
Because I am a loud person.
Well, I'm also trying to control the sound from across the room when we have a sound guy. That's
at least Mike's not snoring for this one.
Or eating a burrito.
No, I think we're
I'll
good.
be a little jealous. But yes, I do like see that frequently, and then I see usually not people that I would consider, like there's definitely people in the wedding planning field that I look at them and I'm like, that is goals. Like Philadelphia has some extremely talented women that made it, but sometimes I see like what I would feel like is like maybe people that are kind of, I don't think they're like the head honchos of Philly, but they kind of like knock girls that like, you know, yes, like we planned our weddings. We feel like we did a bang up job and now we want to get into this field. But also like I am a rookie and I'm very like, I tell that to every single client that decides to take a chance with me. I don't hide it because I think it's a part of me, but also like hungry dogs run faster. Everybody has to start somewhere. And if you're knocking somebody because they want to get into an industry that brings so much joy, then you're just a little, you seem a little threatened, and stay in your lane because you've worked to get where you are. but also like I come from planning events and managing all these different logistics for one of the most successful restaurants in Manayunk that constantly had news coverage. Like my boss taught me so many different things that go into it. And also, if a bride trusts me, that's the highest form of that. And I'm going to like, I ride or die for my girls and I run my family like a business. And I've even now gotten to the point where, like, yes, I want money, especially today. I actually have cannonballed in and I am now full time with Perfect Day, which feels crazy to say out loud, but it was time. And if I feel like we're not like vibing, I'm going to probably say, like, I don't think that we're going to be a good fit because I think when it comes to your wedding, if there's one person that you really, really need to like truly enjoy working with, it needs to be your wedding planner, your day of coordinator, because it's such a different kind of relationship. I think that you and like why you are like, if I could work with In the Mix to be my DJ all the time, I know like it's not good to play favorites.
We didn't pay her to say this, I promise.
But no, it's not good to play favorites, but like I have just had such a tremendous experience and it's such an honor to be here today because like all that you've like, taught me since coming into the industry and just like taking me under your wing and like opportunities that you've, given me. And I really truly appreciate it with you being like 20 years tenured or even more.
20.
Yeah. You have to trust me. And like the best relationships that I've had with my brides are the people that like pull the filter away and realize like that the more that they tell me, the more success we'll have because there's so many different little elements that go into planning your wedding day that people don't even necessarily think of. Family dynamics, what's going on with like you and your fiance, because it can be a really like tense and stressful time to get to that part. There's just a lot of things like people go through grief in their wedding year and how that's affecting you. And these are all like layers of compassion and things that I feel I've dealt with in my personal life.
Sure.
So talk to me.
I have so much to unravel of what you just said, and I'm trying to keep my ADHD brain together. Like, for starters, that has nothing to do with what I'm about to say. And I know you said you're not a sports person. I'm just looking at her, and I just see Knicks colors. Knicks is in the New York Knicks, and it's blue and orange, and I hate it, and I want to change the colors now. So that's totally off topic, but I just had to tell you.
Behind me?
Something off
Like
topic,
the colors of the uplights that we have.
I'm not a Knicks fan. I'm a sports.
Okay.
I'm a Phillies
Okay,
sports
well, I'm glad we're
girl.
saying
I
that.
said, yeah, I told you. Like I'm
Professional
not a
podcast
sports.
colors, blue and orange. There's a color palette.
right.
They offset each other.
Back to the
I want
important
red,
stuff.
white, and blue. America,
So
baby.
I'm going to deep dive into something here, and I'm trying to still talk louder. So I think, and I'm trying to be like blunt and just word vomit all my thoughts of what you just said, because again, I'm going to compliment you of where you're at and how you got here today. But how do I say this? There's, in the Philadelphia market alone, there are thousands of you.
Yes.
If so, let's keep going with this. And 90% of them shouldn't be doing this. Maybe 80. But my point is that this is again why I'm complimenting you, because I think a lot of women that got married love the process.
Yeah.
A lot of women love taking pictures or videos. And all of a sudden, I think that a lot of them think, oh my God, I can do this. And this is where I say, we'll say 80% of them. Right. I think most of them think like, I planned my own wedding, I can do this. And respectfully, all the, as you mentioned, big wigs or people or all these things are probably like, I hate them. Now, you can say the same thing for DJs and photographers and videographers that have any kind of like, how hard can it be? I just got married. I love this. Right.
Yeah.
So any
florist,
vendor.
like I love flowers. Let me
I
do
think
this.
there's so much of this topic that we could talk about where the market is oversaturated since COVID. And I think that a lot of people just popped up out of nowhere. But as you said, every successful brand started day one somewhere and had to get from point A to point B before they became something. And all these people that you said that you like, respected in the business all also started day one somewhere. So you have to. I just think that, again, going back to the point of the pod is to help brides. I love your honesty. I love when people can come on and have balls and say, I might not be for you and we have to vibe, etc. And that's super important no matter what vendor you choose for your wedding. And I don't think people talk about that enough. Like they're like, oh, well, they're just taking photos. Like, I don't have to love them. No, you have to love them. I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many times people
Please
hate
do
their
the engagement
photographer.
session together.
a-
That
And
is
I
a
and I
huge thing.
stress the
That's my
engagement
advice for
session
brides.
100%.
Please do it, because if they don't make you feel comfortable during that time, imagine on your wedding day
When
when
they're
like
with
the
you 8+
nerves are
hours. Yeah.
and you have all these more people. But yeah, just
No,
back.
it's
Yeah, that's one thing. Like, because I've had brides that did book somebody and then they did the engagement session and then they ended up taking like, I don't know, I had one bride, I think she took like any little bit of money, right? Like I'm a very like every 20 bucks becomes 100. They literally broke the contract so that they could find the photographer of their dreams, because after they got back the engagement photos, they were just like,
yeah.
no.
I cannot stress this enough. You have to love your vendors.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to figure out how to keep going with you on this because I tell people all the time, like, you shouldn't book anything for your wedding without looking at some sort of reviews.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where you can shout out Taylor, that she loves to blast you on Philly Brides and, Penryn Brides, if you will,
Yeah.
of how great you are for her wedding. I will tell you, my fiance, who never does any kind of on-site work, happened to be there that day that you were at Penryn because we were doing all of them, and I just wanted to get as much content and pictures and videos
I met the
that
whole
we could.
team.
Right. So you got to see a lot. But I think there's got to be something where everyone has a budget, right? And
For sure.
where the people that you look up to and what you charge now versus what your goal is to charge in 3 years, etc. There's nothing wrong with, and again, did they pay you just gave the example of some photographer that they love, that there was their dream. Did they spend an extra $2,000 that they wanted to on the photographer, but they didn't get their dream planner, and they really liked you, and your price might have been better than their dream planner, hypothetically, and all these things go into play. So for me, I'm always like, obviously I want to get them the book for as many services as we can.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to figure out how we can talk about what makes you stand out, even though you are kind of newer in the game. And again, to give you your flowers, I didn't think that based off of the experience, the relationship, the conversations, the people I see tag you on social media and stuff like that. But from a bride that's never done this before and, is just trying to start feeling out vendors, I'm trying to think of, is there something specific for you that you try to do stand out? You mentioned that you're super honest and that you tell them you're 1 year in, et cetera. But I also feel like no matter what you're doing in this business, you either got it or you don't. And that's super important. So I'm just trying to figure out, how can we help brides be okay with giving someone that's a year in a chance that's not 10 years, but you have to have something that gives them that comfort, that, gut feeling that they're going to trust you and your shit, in so many words.
I feel like it's like, if you're newer and you're getting started like I did, like I look back and it's like, like I had to charge some amount of money because, it's a transaction. But I feel like obviously like you got to start somewhere. I'm a big and like, you got to like give a lot to get a little. And like, you got to make sure that like you have it. And like, I feel like the first couple weddings I worked, like I was fully prepared that like, if I had to refund these people, that like I would, like, but I mean, for like a bride searching, like when it comes time for like, how do you pick from, like, if you want to pick, like the best in the city, I mean, yeah, it does come down to budget.
Sure.
And wedding budgets nowadays are
astronomical.
So yes, they're astronomical, but they're also so like diverse. I feel like the majority of my clients are paying for their weddings themselves. So maybe that's a little bit of my niche and kind of what I've attracted. And maybe it's my, I don't know, I kind of like sometimes call it like my ministry, because like wedding planning for me was not a fun and joyous time. It was really
Stressful.
like, yeah, like Highway to Hell type of AC/DC kind of riff. Yeah.
This is where Keith's supposed to start singing.
Yes, like it was rough. But like I said, like grit, yeah. I call myself like pure grit and good intentions, and I feel like that's a lot of like what wedding planning is, and like a lot of it comes down to like the grindstone. But back to, how do you find somebody? I mean, like if you know, type it into Google, all the big ones will come up. Obviously, they have like bigger marketing budgets, things
Sure.
like that. I think the bride groups really are such a tool when used properly. And like for me, nothing is better than word of mouth. And like I've had brides that they're like, yeah, like I messaged like one of your other brides and like we chatted, and like they were like, I love Shayna, like please do it. Like, you know, and I feel like to hear that from a bride, and like maybe if they give some kind of real time example or just the play by play, like if they weren't happy after and a bride messaged, like they could say that and like be like, hey, like, you know, she was great, but like she's within her first year and there was a couple of things, but I've been so lucky that like I haven't had any of that, and I have really worked to like, I got myself a Google business profile, and I have like said to brides like, hey, like this is how you really can help me, because everybody can see this, not just in the bride groups, and you'll probably want to get out of the bride groups. I mean, once you're not a bride anymore, you know, you kind of
No,
graduate.
sure.
They call it a graduation. Like they do their vendor review, and then a lot of them leave. Some stay in it because I feel like they think it's fun, but like it's probably not forever.
I want them all to stay in it
I
because I want
know.
them to continuously keep tagging us.
You can only hope, right?
You know, maybe that's something that we don't talk about. Again, we have people come on and we have them give their experience and their suggestions, but like, do we talk about Facebook bride groups enough, Keith? Like,
I don't know, but why don't we start one that is for when you've graduated, so you could just talk about your experiences, and it's not like, you know what I mean?
But then it wouldn't really
It's the same
help you
thing.
gain
No,
anything.
it's different.
Yeah. I mean, it would just
You-
be like fun to see people
Graduation.
like, you know,
I
make your ego
think,
feel good, but
again, 20 years to 1 year, I still think the Facebook groups are massive because, yes, I might have a bigger marketing budget than her, and I might have
Pebbles.
a team to do other things that she might not have the luxury of yet. But at the end of the day, the word of mouth from the brides, them tagging her in posts, them saying, again, I'll keep bringing up Taylor, you know, Taylor blasting away saying that you were awesome.
And her mom, Stacy, shout out Stacy.
Yeah,
The
like
best.
I
Like,
think that's way more valuable than my SEO and the marketing I do versus
Word of mouth,
that.
you're saying.
Word of mouth is everything.
When-
But and not to cut you off, you specifically saying something hit nail on head. Having a past bride that you have no idea who they are, and you crushed it for them so much that they're willing to go out of their way and message a stranger on Facebook to talk about their experience with you, that's just massive.
Yeah.
it's like the highest form of compliment.
Absolutely.
And I'm so proud of like now, you know, like I said, like Taylor got into it, and like she's one of those people that like she really had an act for it, and like I was so lucky that I was able to just work with her, take the reins and like take it over for her that day so that she could enjoy like the fruits of her labor. But I mean, she got me into that Penryn Facebook group, and like if we want to talk about Facebook groups, like when there are like the venue specific
Yep.
Facebook groups, not just like Philly
yeah.
Brides. Like it gets crazy. Like there's girls from Jersey in the Philly Brides. Like I just joined a northern
I'm in them all.
South Jersey bride thing. Yeah, I like just found that one, and that one's been, you know, it's like a whole new chapter level unlocked here
Yep.
in like, you know, Shayna mode. But the Penryn one, like Penryn has definitely become my bread and butter, and there is something to be said that like your preferred vendor there, which is such a beautiful thing because you know that place. Like you could walk around there blindfolded. I
Right.
kind of already feel like I could too with, you know, the couple of times that I've been there. And you get to know a venue, get to know their rules. Like, there's nothing better than being able to like guide a bride through that because you have worked there so frequently.
Sure.
But it also, I feel like then this opens up like another discussion of like, sometimes brides do want somebody that's only like, they'll be searching and they'll say like, oh, like it's somebody they have to have worked XYZ.
Right.
And I don't necessarily agree with that because if you have a good planner, they're going to like stalk the Instagram, see the layout, ask for the floor plans,
Right.
the whole 9 yards. Like, I feel like just because you've never been somewhere doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to have an A++ day compared to somebody that's been there 100 times.
I agree and disagree because I'm going to play devil's advocate. I agree that you could, how do we put this? Being a preferred vendor, I think, is massive. I feel like some people downplay this. I do think that just because you're getting married, you pick a venue that you look at 10 venues, you pick at one, you love them. I don't think that you should just book off their preferred vendor list because of that. But if you don't have much information, or let me rephrase, if you don't have a specific vendor in mind for, let's just say, photo and video or DJ, and I do think maybe you should start with the preferred vendors, but this is also where I think couples should take the preferred vendor list and take it to Facebook and ask about these vendors in said bride group about experiences and whatnot. But on the flip side, I also agree where we've done hundreds of weddings. If we're just talking DJs, we bring every wire, extension cord, etc., for things that we're not familiar with. Yes. So even if we've never been there, we can still accommodate on the fly. So yes, I agree with you that we don't have to be there, but I'm also keen on stressing something to the couples, which is peace of mind morning of their wedding. And there is a factor when, if you want to bring up Penryn and you've been there multiple times, the couple, the morning of their wedding, knowing that you've been to their venue multiple times, knowing the staff by name, knowing where the speaker for the ceremony sets up, all of these things, you can't put a price tag on peace of mind morning of your wedding. There's 9,000 thoughts running through their head, and knowing that their vendors are on point and ready to crush is just so massive.
I see that as like a little like a separate entity because I do agree with a preferred DJ for a venue because of there's so much more logistics of it.
That's fair.
And like rather than somebody walking in as like a coordinator or a planner. But I do think yes, and photographer I would say too because like they be knowing the good spots, they know the light, they know the temperature. Like it's just like some venues run hot and some venues run cold. Like I know different bridal suites. I know like if you're saying like it's hot in here, I'm like, yep, it is always sometimes hot in here. Right. We will fix that, and that's no big deal. But I totally when you are a preferred vendor, you have earned it, you deserve it, and it is a level of trust. When it comes to DJ or photographer,
I can see 100% planner. I mean, again, I can see
even florist because like some venues just have really, really strict setup times, and like the whole 3-hour thing. I'm like, 3 hours is nothing.
Right.
So it's crazy. So I feel like if you know that like, some florists, like they know how to get in, do that space, do the flip, be good. No, I feel like if you had somebody come in that didn't know it and that 3 hours, that's like take you 3 hours to set up a ceremony space. You can't do that. You're screwed. I'm going to have to pick up your flowers.
It makes total sense. And I just worked with a florist recently that was phenomenal. And I really loved their vibe and energy. And they had a situation where the ceremony was kind of far from where the reception room is. And I guess their arrangement was they were taking all the flowers from the ceremony and then setting them up at the head table in the reception room. Well, they have 1 hour to do so. So to break everything down from the ceremony and then bring it all in and set up in the reception room. We wound up opening the room up 10, 15 minutes late just because it was such a setup and breakdown. And, it's just little things, and every minute counts when you're, trying to get stuff done for a wedding.
I've also seen a big trend of, I'm very big on like, I always say I treat my clients like family, but when you do toe the line of like working with vendors that are family friends, I always am very honest with my brides about like, I don't know how to nicely say it, but like kind of like you got to lean on them and remind them that like even if they're doing you a favor, if there was some kind of like financial discount, that there still needs to be like you need to show up at the right time. You need to know like this isn't just like a free for all kind of thing. And I've definitely seen the backside of that, and then had to lift like 100-pound floral sprays from the ceremony site into the reception thing because they said that they were going to do it, and then they came back and they were like, guests at the wedding, and they didn't do it, and who was going to do it? So I did it, and I'm glad that I, keep myself in shape. But like, was that really accounted for?
Right.
So it's like things that, like I feel like there's so many things that on the back end of side of coordinating and planning that like people have no clue.
Well,
and
I was
like,
going to go there. Tell us, because I feel like there's a ton of stuff on the back end that might not be in your quote unquote job descriptions that you guys do. And I mean, you could talk more, and I want you to break this down more about planning versus content, but let's go back here. Where did you start? Was it starting with the planning that trickled into you also doing content? Were they hand in hand?
So, and like, I only do like a select amount of content creation now because I've realized that like my full, real passion.
I know where the money is too, so that makes sense.
Like, I know like nobody will believe it, but like I never was in it for the money. Like, I don't know. It's kind of like a teaching. Like I said, like, not to be all like philosophical with it, but I feel like it's a ministry, and it is my passion. But while I was at the restaurant, like I was running social media for my my former boss, and I realized, like I love doing this. Like it's a creative outlet. And then I don't even know like how I thought to get into the wedding side of it. Like maybe I started noticing it was growing and trending, and now this is going back to the first one I did, I think was like February of 22. That's when it kind of started, I feel like, becoming a thing because people were kind of like the after COVID reschedule was still fizzling out.
Right.
People might not have had the budget for videographers. TikTok was like hot. Everybody's seeing all this stuff. And so, so I started with content creation. But since then, I've pretty much fully pivoted. And now that I've moved on to not doing social media for the restaurant, it's more of like a passion again because it feels more creative and not something that I'm doing daily. So I have like a couple of June bookings for next year that I'm like really looking forward to.
I brought it up because I feel like you could be a day of planner, and there's 10 things that you probably also do throughout that day that's not on your quote unquote what your job description is. But I feel like content's a perfect example of like, you're also probably taking random videos throughout the day too. That's not your part of your quote unquote job. That's just like you're there and in it, and just you, whether it's the vision in you to just see stuff to grab and take while you're there.
I feel like I remember going back now talking like the first content creation booking that I did was my hairstylist. She now has like her own bridal hair business, very successful. She's extremely talented. Soleil Sable, if any bride needs somebody, book Amanda. She is just amazing. But it was one of her girls, and I was like, hey, like I want to do this, like, obviously like portfolio builder,
Sure.
like did it for free.
Sure.
Got to go to the coolest venue up in Allentown called the Volt something. It's like an old bank.
635. We're a preferred vendor there too.
Are you? They're
love the Volt.
awesome. I loved their venue
Cool. I
coordinator.
just moved you to a wedding there coming
Really?
up. So yeah, it's awesome. It's just a
I
drive.
love
Yeah.
the best vendor meals ever
Yeah.
there.
Oh my gosh,
Stuffed
yeah.
shrimp. It
Looking,
was like stuffed shrimp with crab. I was like in shock at how good
The
it was.
it's a
venue's
really
sick.
cool venue.
The only negative part, and it has nothing to do with the couples aspect, is
Yeah.
Keith is the stairmaster
Upstairs?
because
Yeah,
the,
up the stairs.
and this is a perfect example of that's a
You
venue
have
that
to
you
be
need a
up real
2-man
high,
show.
yeah.
You need a 2-man
Oh,
show to do that
100%.
wedding.
I'm up and down
because-
them stairs.
And the
Right.
speakeasy, like
Right.
I don't
The
know how would you
downstairs-
set that up? Like that's
The
kind
downstairs
of. I
is
mean,
tight, though. It's
you
a
guys do
little
your
tight
thing.
pack.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a speaker and a mic. I mean, a
Yeah,
speaker,
speaker.
for
Okay,
a
yeah,
cocktail hour. But like pictures of that place.
It was February and it snowed.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think
It was
we also need
awesome.
to let people know there's
Shout
no
out to
elevator
Maddie and
get
Wade.
up
They
there.
were great.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
that-
That's what I said.
like
There's 80
taking-
steps there. Again, this is only for the DJ of.
Yeah, there's no
running
way
up
to
and
get
down.
your equipment. Like there's elevators for
No,
guests,
it's-
obviously.
It's
yeah.
probably one of the top 5 least favorites for our DJs
need the
to
young
carry that
guys.
stuff up the steps.
You need your rookies. You're like,
Yeah.
all right, come on, we're
We
gonna lug some
also-
stuff today.
sadly, you
I'm
get-
looking at you.
You get more of a dumbed down setup when you're going there. You're
Well,
not gonna
yeah, because
bring,
we're not
you can't
set up
bring
speakers.
a TV booth up those steps. Like you're not going to do that.
It is a
James has
really
never-
because you're in that. But anyway, that's where it took me. How
So she
cool
said
the
Allentown.
content that I
was like,
got.
please say
Yeah.
Vault.
It was awesome too because my husband that night ended up going to like a Phantoms game and then we like went home together. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Pre-baby. But I remember now like looking back on that day, I was actually being a day of coordinator without even like
Right.
knowing what that was cuz this is like yes, I was married at the time, but it was still during that time where like we had eloped, nobody knew. So I'm married, whatever. Been a bridesmaid handful of times, weddings, go to a lot of weddings. But I was doing things for her now that I do for my brides, and I was noticing like that I liked it. Like I liked being that person. And I think that maybe that like did plant the seed, but I didn't know quite yet. And I feel like when I was the couple of content creation bookings that I took after that, I was doing all of those same things while still like, snapping content and doing the things that I talked about with my brides and our
Right.
plan for the day. But it would always be like the parents would come up to me and be like, you went above and beyond, like you helped with stuff that wasn't, you didn't have to do that. Like you're filming and it wasn't interfering with what I was doing because content's so great that like your phone's here. You can be doing,
Sure.
you can be doing a lot of different things. It's not like you have the heavy camera equipment or you have this crazy shot list. Like I think that content to me, the side of it that I really, really love, and this is also something that like when I take bookings, I'm very transparent with people. I'm like, hey, if you want to do like the TikTok trends and things like that, that's not really like my forte. Like I'm not there anymore. I just play like I'm a mom. Like I know I'm a cool mom. Not a cool mom, but like
No, I get it.
love being a mom is my biggest flex because when you're a mom, you can do anything. Like I am mama first and foremost. But anyway, I'm all over the place. But anyway,
You're good. She's like the female version of me. I feel everything. I get it. You're like,
yeah.
boom, we're there. I
I'm
get
a
it.
Gemini. Like I don't even, Philly. I'm
Happy
talking with the
birthday.
hands. Thank you.
When is it?
It was May 25th.
Oh,
A
okay.
Memorial Day weekend baby.
Okay.
That used to be really fun back in the day. We'd do like a 3-day stint down the shore and just go all over the heck place.
Since
Now
we're
I'm like, I would never survive.
and if you have like something that you like sold on, say it. I don't want to interrupt you, but
No, you're
I
good.
just thought of something that I want to go back to since
Go.
my ADHD brain. You mentioned something that I like talking about, and I want to talk more about it at your wedding. And speaking of, I'm going to give her the credit, and another planner, Amanda Dean, came on here and she called it the wedding bubble. And I like this, which is talk more about your wedding weekend, because I think that's something that's growing and I'm a big fan. And does it change where you have your wedding now? Because I think there's something massive that can be said about doing a whole weekend. I talk so much about getting stuck talking to Uncle Steve and Aunt Karen, who you haven't seen during the wedding, and it takes away from the day. But if everyone's in town for the weekend, if there's a pre-party, if there's a Sunday brunch afterwards, I think all of them things go in hand of you don't have to do so much more of that stuff
Yeah.
We just did a wedding a couple weeks ago in Punta Cana, and again, obviously everyone's together, but like they did some like speeches and toast at the welcome party that they didn't have to do at the
Yes.
actual wedding, and everybody was at the welcome party. Most people might just do like a rehearsal. It might only be 15, 20 people. Like, you want to give them their chance to get their speeches in, but not to 20 people. In this case, it was everybody. So, I just want you to touch a little bit more about your weekend as far as things.
When I said that, I actually, like, obviously I follow the pod, and I feel like Amanda is one of those people in the field that I haven't had the pleasure of actually personally meeting her, but she sent me a referral the other day, and I know that she has like a couple more people on her like artisanal, like I'm still kind of a one woman show. So I've, tried to say like, hey, you should reach out to Lock Events. And that's like, how it should be.
Yeah.
Like we're all,
There's so many weddings where all should be spreading love.
But I know that like you always tag her and stuff. So I'm like, all right, if Harry vouches for her, like, that kind of thing. But anyway, but yeah, she did. Thank you, Amanda, for that. But yeah, when she said the wedding bubble, like that really spoke to me because I feel like it's just fun.
Sure.
Like, let's just make weddings fun. Okay. Like, that's my big thing with my couples. I'm like, I want you to have fun. But when we did it, like, yeah, honestly, like the next day, we were down in Lewis, Delaware. So it's 4th of July weekend. It's madness down there. We go to Dewey. We go to this like can jam thing that I've never gone to before at this like really well-known place. I think it's called like Cork and Cap, something like that. I don't know, but it's a spot. And it was like my dream.
I know what you're talking about too.
It's all like retro signs inside. And it was just very like me. And we have this like great night with our friends. And yeah, like our wedding already, like it was very big to me that like there was nobody at my wedding that if I talked to them, I didn't want to have that get stuck thing. But I know not everybody has that liberty. It's just different like family dynamics with like me and my husband that like I feel like there's something to be said too. Like when you pay for your wedding, like you don't have to listen to anybody. So I know that that's not plausible for some brides. And of course, if you have somebody offering you money, I totally get it.
Changes a little bit of
I
dynamics,
totally get it. And you might, Aunt Sally and Uncle Harry aren't sounding so bad anymore. But yeah, Harry. That's actually my favorite rom-com, by the way. When Harry Met Sally, great movie. One of my cocktails at my wedding was named I'll Have What She's Having, and that drink was a top hit. But anyway, yeah, the bubble is beautiful, and something I am seeing too, even if you're not like in a place where you can do kind of like the whole wedding weekend, is people now for rehearsal, they are doing more of like welcome drinks. So we're having it in like a bigger format. We're having it in like a brewery or a space where we know it can be a little bit more touch and go. And then we're doing majority of speeches that night, because if you're invited to this, you might not just be inner circle, but there's kind of like the different ripple effects of like a wedding and like the levels of closeness. You're probably within like that first like, I don't know, like aura of like, we really care. We're like really, really excited. Not just kind of like, oh, like, you went to our wedding like 5 years ago. We now need to come and like repay the favor kind of vibe, because I feel like that does happen,
Sure.
There's politics to anything in life. And I feel like with weddings, there definitely is too. But a lot of people are not getting done, but they're having those speeches that night before. And I feel like it really does like convey a lot of emotion that gets you really excited for the next day. Whereas sometimes I feel like it's a really hard conversation with a lot of my clients, because whoever you decided to do speeches on your wedding day, that's such a personal, like sacred thing to me. But I don't know how to kindly tell people like, hey, is so-and-so a, professional public speaker? No. I'm like, okay, yeah, well then if they ramble on for like 5 minutes, it's actually going to
be terrible.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And people also then, I feel like, have to really like watch their P's and Q's with like the drinking, because there is nothing worse than somebody getting up and like slurring words and kind of doing that like drunky, like you hit cocktail hour a little hard. And then that makes my day, I feel like, very different as a planner, because then I have to become like the booze police. And like, I want everybody to have fun, but that's also something with weddings that I feel like I have experienced some things now where I'm like, hey, alcohol's fun until it's not. Let's like make it to dinner, because now everybody's having after parties and stuff, and everybody wants to act like they're 21 when they're back with like 30 of their closest friends. But most of us aren't, and most of us now are getting married in our 30s, not at 25.
That's a clip. Hot take. If you're not a professional speaker, you should probably write down your speech. At the minimum, make cliff notes, because the idea of you're just going to get up there and wing it is the worst thing in the world. And 7 out of 10 times, it's not going to be good. I feel as though it needs to be 3 minutes or less. You need to time that shit in the mirror, and that's
And
it.
not read it from your phone.
Right.
Put the phones away.
Yeah.
No phones.
So wait, I just told them they had to write it down. So what are they getting? A piece of paper? Why
Yeah,
no phones?
I like honestly, like, I rather see like an old school, like
You
me
want
in
the-
Catholic school in
I
my
think
little
index
jumper.
cards really works well, actually.
Yeah.
What's that?
Index cards really works well.
That's
It's
They're
like
small.
Cliff Notes.
I said that's why I said cliff notes.
I think
are
you
massive.
can wing it a little, because I think sometimes, like, when you get in front of that, you know what? I think back to my motto of, you can do whatever the hell you want,
Yeah.
but if you want a professional opinion and you know that your maid of honor
Is a drinker. Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
and you know that she's going to get emotional, I think it's just because I've heard my husband too many times in my ear. He's like, oh, here we go. And you can just tell the second that they take the mic. Now, this is from personal
Sure.
weddings that
Yeah.
we've been invited to and things. And he's not wrong.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. It's not a good look. And usually, do you think that person woke up the next day and was super like, oh my God, like, I crushed that? No, most likely not. It honestly, I feel like, to me, as your DOC, like your day of coordinator, I'm very protective of my brides and their energy. I often, when that happens, I'm like, I did not care for that. Like, I feel a little annoyed. I'm like, they couldn't have just kept it together to make that speech. Like, you trusted them to do that. And then I know people get nervous and they think that like drinking more is the solution, but like, it's usually not.
I feel like we don't talk about speeches enough.
We've
What
talked
should or
about that.
shouldn't be done.
I think you've talked about it, and I feel like everybody knows. Like, it's just funny because I've had people to say like, I want my wedding, like, I just want to get to the dance floor, right? Like,
Right.
that's a new thing. Everybody, like,
I'm
these
here
song
for it.
sets, which like I would love to hear your opinion about like the 3-song set and like how you feel that affects a timeline, because I love like getting DJs' opinions about things and like what you feel helps you guys bring the energy. But a lot of my brides are like, I just want to get through dinner, get the dance floor open. And I'm like, heck yeah. I love that. I want to see you shake your butt. Like, I do. I want you to have fun. Like, we'll get, you're bustled. We're good. We've done it. If somebody spills on your dress, don't cry. They can get it out and preserve it for if you decide you want to have children. But I mean, I just feel like then I've had people say like, okay, well, we have 5 speeches. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, that's not adding up to this party element. This is going to now become like an hour of the night.
Keith, we haven't said it in a while. What is she describing?
Expectations versus reality?
Expectations versus reality. You're good. There's nothing worse than having a consult, having them paint the picture of the vision they want,
Yes.
and then when it's a year later and they had a year of TikToks and Pinterest and ideas, and then we go over the final paperwork and they're adding in this and that and 5 speeches, and I go, whoa, let's go back. I've been saying this, I don't know if I've said it on the pod. I just recorded my first ever Google Meets, and it was for something fantasy football related. I'll nerd out here for a second. But I want to start asking my couples if I can record their consults for multiple reasons. Sales in one aspect, but I sometimes want them to go back and watch the video of our consult where they say, I just want to shake my ass.
Yeah.
The priority is to get everything done up front. And then 1 year goes by and they're 5 speeches, the
10 TikTok trends later
all,
that they're
right,
content
all of it.
creators trying to record.
And people always think I'm like negative and like trying to cut things. I'm just trying to go with the vision you told me you wanted for your wedding.
Yes.
And that's also why I think they booked us. They know our, you know, how we do things and the vibes that we create, and all of this goes into play. There's nothing worse than if the goal is to have a 2-hour open dance floor, some you get lucky and get 2.5. But like when you add stuff up and dinner didn't happen until later and you get an hour of dancing and all these other things, like I'm disappointed for you. You could have maybe had the best night, which at the end of the day, that is great. But if your objective was to be on the dance floor for 2 hours and you were out there for 45 minutes,
No.
I feel a way about that. Even though you said it was the best, I feel a way. I'm never going to tell them that, but I feel a way about it that the other day.
Because you just know how
what it
good
it
could be.
Right.
And I'm big on that too. Like when I talk to my couples, well, there's a couple of things on my mind right now. Like I had one couple that like the whole thing was like, yeah, we really just want to get to the dance floor. And then it became like this kind of thing that I feel like from being not like, I'm going to call myself like a wedding professional, but like a knowledgeable person about how weddings are. She was like, well, the venue never disclosed to me that I couldn't have dinner at like 6:30 p.m. And I'm like, you know what? Like, she ain't wrong. Because she literally is thinking that like the ballroom doors open, that her, you know, they had, you know, salad or soup, whatever it was, that would be waiting. That would happen, get cleared very quickly. And then dinner would be like, and you know, it's a very like reputable wedding company that they excel in everything that they do, but whose kitchen can do that? But like they never told her that, like, hey, when you're, you know, thinking about how you want the night to flow, just know that dinner is not going to be served before 7 p.m. because she really wanted, you know, the dance floor to be open by 7. And she just wanted to dance and have fun. And it's like kind of, it's hard because I think weddings are changing. And like, honestly, I kind of just want to go to a wedding where like we eat appetizers and have some really good cocktails, like kind of what I tried to do at my 4th of July thing. And then, you know, if you want to do some late night food, that's when you're really hungry because you've had a couple beveraginos and you're, you know, like you want it. And at that point in time, you also just probably want food that's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. Like I just want, you know, I'll even take one of your like rinky dink cheesesteaks that these venues are popping up. Actually, I had one the other day that I was like, you know what, this wasn't half bad.
I want to go hard on this one because I'm so clutch what you just said, and I was going here as soon as you said it. I don't do a lot of weddings anymore.
Yeah.
And I worked a wedding this past Friday, and it's fresh on my mind. And it's a Friday wedding, so let's start there. And
changes things.
It does change things.
I felt it in my stomach because for me, like that's always the wedding that I'm like, all right, it's probably going to be like 20 minutes behind because people in traffic, but keep going.
I think there's something about, okay, Friday and Saturday weddings, there's different things. We could talk about that in itself.
And Sunday. I do want to say one thing for brides, that if you do not do well with heat, stop with these summer weddings.
Why? Right.
Like every single time. And then vendors complaining about it's hot. I'm like, guys, we're all hot. And also this isn't the pageant. Like, but if you know you don't do well with heat, you do not need to have a summer wedding.
Preach. Don't let me forget.
Also, love a winter wedding because, like, what else the hell are we doing in the winter? I want something fun to do. My friend got married in February. It was sick at Penryn. It was a great time. It was like, I think it was the day after Valentine's Day. Like, everybody's husband's happy because, like, you know, everybody's getting laid. It's great. Like, you gotta love it. And they brought us all together at such, like, a boring time of the year to have a damn party for them and get together.
I'm all about it. I'm all about it.
And I love a fur jacket.
Listen, I wish we had more winter.
Love wedding fashion. I love setting your own dress code too. Mine was Coastal Cowboy. My husband thought it was crazy until all his buddies from the Northeast literally rolled up looking incredible. Like they were going to the rodeo. The girls had fun with it too. A lot of cowboy boots, bold colors. I told you, like, if there's one thing takeaway from this podcast with the perfect day creations, the word perfect means a lot of different things. It doesn't mean what you think to me. Your idea of perfect is what I want to hear. Perfect is so different for everybody.
Sure.
And I think cookie cutter is great and fine, but I love when people come to me with some crazy shit and I'm like, let's do it. Like, that's what the timeline's based upon. Actually, I had a couple at Penryn that the husband was in a band and he wanted to play a 45-minute set on stage. When I did my intro call with them, I'm like, how is this going to happen? I was terrified, but I liked them. I vibed with them. So I'm like, let's do it. It was so awesome.
Did we
His
do this wedding
band
with
rocked
you?
out. No, this wasn't
Okay.
you guys. Yeah,
Okay.
it was with
I just feel
Eclipse
like-
was the DJ.
I
How
feel like
long
we
of a
did similar.
set did he do?
45 minutes.
45 minutes
So
on stage with
The
his
groom
band.
went up on stage
The groom
for
did,
45
yeah,
minutes.
with his electric guitar
Is
and
this
his
at the
white
Marion
suit.
by any chance?
What did you say?
Is this at the Marion?
No, it was at the mansion. It was
At
like
Penryn?
so
Oh.
crazy. Yeah, it was in February. February
I have a very
7th.
similar story.
Yeah, but I was like, this is nuts. But it literally was so cool, and I didn't know how it was like gonna pan out with the guests. Not a single guest in the seat because this was what was important to them, and it brought all their guests together, and it was so fun. And then the DJ, like, you know, he did
It's
a great
like
job
the bride
afterwards.
and groom being on the dance floor. They're going to be where you are. And
Right.
That's
Right.
he's up there
Yeah.
playing, so they're like, oh my God.
Right.
So
But yeah, I mean, he also just like rocked. He was very talented. But anyway, yeah. So
Let's go back before I forget, because I think this is massive. I just did a wedding on Friday.
Yeah.
I think Friday weddings should be later. It's, again, a lot of people work. Most people do not take off. If they do, maybe they take a half a day. Got to talk louder. Sorry, listeners. But this goes back to you with the apps and the late night foods. My wedding was 7 to 12 on Friday. It's funny that I used to live for the weddings that were 7 to 12, and now I'm 40 and I'm like, damn, I have a wedding till 12. But I think there's something massive about serving a steak dinner at 9 o'clock on a Friday. And this goes back to vibes, energies, eating red meat at 9 o'clock at night, and still going hard until 12. And this goes back to, I keep preaching this, I'm so over chicken and steak at weddings, and I want crazy killer cocktail hours and the late nights. And for the vendor aspect of it, I always thought to myself, how can this become a thing if they're not getting their money for the steak and chicken dinners from the venues aspect? But if they go to town on the cocktail hour and have not half-assed cheesesteaks, but phenomenal cheesesteaks and phenomenal things, there's nothing better than leaving a wedding and getting food when you leave, because most people are leaving and getting some sort of after food when they leave a wedding. So getting a not soggy wrapped up rolled cheesesteak at a wedding versus a fresh seeded roll or something, where how can we make the money work for the vendors? But I just feel like, what are we waiting for? Everything's changing in this business. Why are we not implementing this more at weddings? And I thought about it on Friday night. Like, they're sitting down to eat dinner at 9 o'clock on a Friday. More than half of them went to work that day. More than half of them came straight there. And let's go back to the summertime. It's hot as shit. And talking about draining people, like, it's hot out. We're eating steak at 9 o'clock and we're expected to dance until 12.
And
It's
wedding
just-
steak. Like, I'm not even trying to be rude, but like, it's not like we're at, you know, like, it's not
Del
probably your
Frisco's,
steak
yeah.
of choice. I don't even know. Sometimes they don't even ask you how you want it cooked. Like, the couple just picks the temp, and
Right. I think
just-
most are just medium. Just
yeah,
because that's like
safe.
my dad would have a heart attack. He wants it as black as my shoe.
Yeah, but like, it's just
so
not.
gross.
Yeah, you're just like not.
I have another random. You said you're a movie person. I need
Go.
to know, what's your favorite movie?
Okay, yeah, okay. Sorry, I feel like I just like glitched out. Like, I feel like something. Harry hit me with like the 9 o'clock at night, and I'm just thinking of like me as a parent and like where I emotionally am at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Like, even the pushing at weddings, like, because by then, you know, things are going on my watch. Things are usually going real good.
Right. You're practically,
but I'm kind of like at that point, I'm like, okay, like I just got to make sure
You're
that
cruise
like
control.
you get everything. Yeah. Like, I mean, not always, but like when it's going good, it's going good. And I'm kind of like, okay, that's maybe when I finally like zip down a Coke. But okay. Silence of the Lambs is definitely
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, like people are gonna be like, "Don't hire this girl as a DOC." Like,
No.
I mean, I think like the story of Forrest Gump is like you have to see that once in your life. The soundtrack is amazing. Obviously, my business
The soundtrack
is the soundtrack of Forrest Gump is so incredible, even down to like the music score with the feather at the end. Like, come on, I get emotional. When Harry Met Sally, Mr. Harry, but my business is based around Legally Blonde. And there's a new Legally Blonde coming out, I think, like tomorrow.
Really?
The spinoff. Yeah, there's like a new spinoff
Oh, it's
coming.
not her.
Which I'm not, no. Which
I think
I'm
it's a
usually
show,
not.
right?
Yeah, it's a show.
It's a
Yeah,
show.
I think it's on like Prime. What's your favorite movie?
We have the same one. How
Silence
crazy
of the
is that?
Lambs?
No.
Oh.
Me and him have the same one.
Oh.
You got so excited. You're like, no way, really?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know why I glitched there. I feel like that's one thing about being a parent that like I haven't watched as many
Enough adult movies
lately. Like the other day, I don't know why, I was like, I really want to rewatch like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I feel like when it came out, it got like such like, oh, it's not good, but I think that movie's so good. I love Catch Me If You Can, actually. That's a really good one.
Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah.
You don't know it?
And Tom Hanks.
Confirm. Yeah.
And the book is like so good. Oh, but the big one in our house, no matter what, when all else fails, we are Wolf of Wall Street people, I'm cracking up because
high five in the air. Boom.
Yep, like literally the dad. I feel like the dad.
We're in a computer. We're in
picks
a computer.
up the phone with like his British accent. Sometimes I feel like him because I feel like I just like don. Like I am such like a genuine, real person, which actually I kind of hate when people say that because they're usually the opposite, but I'm not. Like I am a ride or die. I curse way too much and I have to tell my clients that and like, you know, pick and choose. But like I said, I always manifest the people that are meant for me and it's how we get shit done. But when he's like $26,000 for one dinner,
I told
Jordan,
myself if she quotes this line right here, we're in a computer.
Like
Rob Reiner got killed by his son recently. Him and his wife.
Yeah.
But I'll say this.
I always forget that it's Rob Reiner, but like literally that's why I say to people, you are basically having, when else are you going to drop this much money in one fucking day? Like I'm not fucking leaving until I have a good time. Like Jordan Belfort on my wedding day, maybe none of the, what did they call the low level ones, the penny stock or the pink slips. No pink slips, okay? Leave them out of this. But like I want to have a good time. I just want to have a good time. I want you to have a good time. Like I want to make sure that when we work together, you know that you're going to have a good time and I will do everything in my capability to make sure that that is the goal. I like people that like to have fun. If you're not having fun on your wedding day, what does that represent about you as a couple? You should be having the best time with the love of your life. And that's what I say to everybody else. Everything else is just noise. End of the day, it's you and them. Started that chapter. Don't go into it bankrupt. Do it with what you can and do it well and hire somebody to make sure that it gets done.
The lewds. I just want to say that.
And the lewds. And then, yeah, the best thing about getting rescued by Italian Coast Guard is they feed you red wine and play music. And yeah, play Gloria at your wedding. That's an underrated song. Gloria.
So I meant to ask you this 5 times and I haven't. And we don't have to put it on the air if you don't want me to. But how old are you?
34.
Okay. I asked the question always
My Uber driver told me I looked good today, so I will that I don't look 34.
I thought you were younger. That's why I asked.
We can say it.
Statistically, what's Gen Z? Because I always talk about Gen Z. What's
Gen
the
Z?
cap?
I always forget which
They're
one I am.
probably like in their 20s right now.
Like 28, 29?
What are you, like
Yeah.
26? Damn it. Knew
nobody
it.
ever gets that right. So that's so impressive, right?
I just felt it. He's like the borderline. Like at 26, you start to get a little common sense. Yeah. Do you have a girlfriend? There you go. That's that 26
off the air.
talking.
Off the air. Okay.
I'm 92, so I always forget. What am I? Am I a millennial?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't plan into that, but I am a Gemini and I will I'm a Zodiac person.
The only reason I asked was because I was impressed you said the Forrest Gump soundtrack because that's super old school and
Age of Aquarius.
that's like my dad's vibes of music.
Yeah,
but it's phenomenal
that's
soundtrack.
my dad. Yeah,
I've had that soundtrack or a CD as I was a kid. My dad, I should say.
The CD is amazing.
I think it's a double CD.
It is. It's a two. Yeah, I have it too.
Yeah.
I own it. Yeah, I need to get it on vinyl.
The Gone with the Wind soundtrack.
I'm trying to think what else we can say. No joke. Love the conversation. So glad you came on. I think we're 46 episodes in, and I don't know if I've ever not looked at that sheet once. We just kind of rolled with it, and I'm here with it. I might hate myself when I look back and I'm like, damn, we didn't talk about this, but I think this was a great conversation.
I'll be your filler, your fun, a little laugh. I don't want to apologize that you didn't know that I was like a year in. I really thought you knew that.
Dead serious.
But like, I'm so excited for my business to be like turning a year old. I'm working on like rebranding and like I have some really cool things up my sleeve.
That's amazing.
But like everything that you from the start, like after we worked together that day with Gorms and Riz, like I really will never forget the way that they made me feel.
It's
Gorms
amazing.
actually recognized me from the restaurant that I worked at, and like it really is just such a small world like that, and you just gotta roll with it. But like you have such a talented group of people.
Love it.
And every time I get to work with you, like I said, you're not supposed to play favorites, but like in the mix all day, baby. I'm just starting to really take like full wedding planning clients, but my girl, you know, it was like kind of like a no-brainer. Set your priority people. Make sure your DJ is one of them because your DJ will make or break your night. And you guys always make it. So
love it. Seriously, Shane, so appreciative of you coming on.
Benny fucking Hana.
Yeah, I love it. This camera's gonna die in 30 seconds, and it couldn't have ended at a better way. Shayna Karl from the Perfect Day Creations. Ladies and gentlemen, go reach out if you need someone. We're out of here. We'll see you next time.
Thanks,
Finito.
everybody.